Oh, Sherman, Leave a Legacy, episode 66. Want to focus on embracing change. Phenomenal book out there called Who Moved the Cheese. You have a labyrinth where there's two humans, hem and haw. You have two mice. The cheese is where they live. It's where they get their communion. It's their survival. It's their comfort zone. And the moment that the cheese is gone, they wake up one day. The mice, they wait around for a little bit, put on their running shoes, and start searching for new cheese throughout the maze. Where hem and haw have this discovery of dealing with the change and going out and embracing it. So one thing that when it comes to change, you need to be able to focus all your time and energy on how to get around the issue that you might find yourselves in and finding a solution to now that there is this issue in the change or there's a problem. So I'm going to use the financial services industry as an example because right now the legislation was passed in regards to the Department of Labor, which made it more difficult for them to be able to get compensated, that they now have to prove a reason for the compensation to a point that they could be sued from an class action lawsuit perspective, and that certain products and services are either going away or their compensation is being drastically cut, almost as probably as much as 50%. So that's a huge change for the financial advisor world. And so what I want to do is give this as an example of how I would advise them to embrace this change and move on versus sitting back, having the wait and see mentality, or the I don't think it's really going to happen. It's almost that whole denial, the 6 steps of grief kind of process that it's not going to happen. And so if I'm a financial advisor, the first thing that I would do is have a look at my business mix. What did I sell the last 2 years when it came to investments versus insurance products? And then what I would see is, based on this regulation change set out by the DOL, how does that then affect the way that I conduct business? If I end up noticing that a lot of it's on the insurance side, it's not even affected by this Department of Labor issue. Now, if it's on the variable annuity side, it's a lot of rollovers from 401ks to IRAs, or I manage a lot of retirement accounts, then I'm going to be affected. However, what is my current company saying about my compensation being affected in different product lines or different service models? The other thing that I would see then is, so once I've gotten a good product mix, I would then look at my customer or my client, and I'd say, what is my customer service model? What is my client engagement model? Now, there's a phenomenal book out there called Supernova, and it's the idea that you start out with the end in mind, your client, and what kind of service do they want? Not what kind of service do you want to give them, what do they want from you? And invariably what you'll find is that your A clients want a higher level of service, your B clients want a intermediate level, and then your C's, they really just want to contact you when they have an issue. So if you're trying to give A-level service to everybody, you're going to find yourself exhausted. These people aren't going to appreciate it. These people are going to be a little bit annoyed, and these people you're going to hit spot on with. But do you have enough bandwidth to give everybody A-level service? And the answer to that is no. Does that mean if a C client calls in, you're going to be rude to them? Not at all. It's just that from an engagement standpoint, their touches are going to be a lot less, or they're going to be different. And so what you want to be able to, then the next step is know your product, know your business mix. Number 2 is what will be your sales process, and start it by and then the third one is then segment out your practice. Look at your clients and say A, B's, and C's. What kind of service am I going to give you going forward? And then number 4, the one that I would look at is, should I be doing differently from what my company's telling me about this change? And if you use this same process with change in general, okay, so there's a change occurs in your entrepreneur, let's say, for example, you can no longer sell widgets in the state of Wisconsin. So what happens there is I can no longer sell those widgets here, and let's first pull up my business mix. How much product am I actually selling to Wisconsin? Is that really affecting me? Number 2 is then, if I look at my client base and I set them aside, how many of them actually fall into this realm of not being able to actually do business there? So then I put reality to this situation. Third, then I look at how do I help those individuals continue to engage, and then ultimately, based on what my company's saying, what's my compensation going to look like differently? I think oftentimes in the face of the unknown, we're going to think the worst case scenario. Don't be like hem and haw, be more like the mice. Run after the change, go find the cheese, because once it's moved, it doesn't add any value for you to spend any more energy on why did it happen, who's to blame. It's happened. It's time to quickly move on and then go find the solution that's going to make the most amount of sense for you. Question that I have for the community is, what was the last change that you successfully went through? Have a fantastic day.